Hi, I'm Kurt Vincent with the Bladen Journal. Welcome to the Saturday Show. My guest today is Arthur J. Rich. He is a candidate for Lieutenant Governor and from Bladen County. Welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me, Kurt.
The first thing I want to ask you is, you're a first-time candidate. What made you decide to jump into politics and at such a high level?
Well, it's just that time. I mean, I feel like we need young leaders in our state to step up. And I'm not the first to run at my age, actually, so that shouldn't be a factor in the campaign. I feel like that the state limitation is 30 years old, and I'm 5 years older than that, so I think that the age shouldn't have anything to do with it. It's all about what you want to do for the state of North Carolina and how you want to make it better and what you can bring to the table.
Is this something that you've kind of been gearing up towards? This wasn't like just jumping in all of a sudden.
Not really. I've set high expectations for myself, and it just felt like the timing was, was right. Mm-hmm. And I've been listening to people the last 4 or 5 years and talking about, they were talking about the difficulties they're having economically, and they just are fed up with the leadership. They want to see someone step out and that's going to do something for them. That's going to be fighting for them, and I want to be that person. I've never felt any, I've never felt stronger about it, because the fact is, I've always looked up to people that steps out to do leadership roles in our state, and I want to be one of the people that stepped up and made something happen.
Right.
And it's not a timing factor. I don't think. I think that it's just I felt led to do it because the people around me encouraging me, and for me being a business owner in North Carolina right now and seeing what other businesses are going through, my heart goes out to them.
Okay. Now, you are one of 5 Republican candidates for Lieutenant Governor. You will be in part of the May 8th primary on May 8th, of course. How have you been received as you've made your rounds around the state?
I can't believe it. I mean, it's exciting. Everywhere I go, I feel a little bit better when I leave. I mean, I was in a group over 500 people last Saturday. I had 2 rounds of applause before I ever got finished speaking, and I was really pumped up, and I really feel like that everywhere I go. And afterward, the conversation that I have with the people afterward, it just tells me that I'm doing the right thing. And I feel that the people really see the sincerity that I have, because they feel like that I'm actually trying to do this not for the fame and fortune or the money. That's the driving force of politics, is the money. And I'm not out, with my hand out saying, hey, can you make a donation to my campaign or anything like that, because I know times are hard and people are needing every dime that they can have for themselves. And the fact is, I feel like that money has taken away from the true leadership, because now it's almost who has the most money is the one who wins. Right. And that shouldn't be the case in our democracy, in our country. It should be about the people having the true leadership step up to the plate and say, look, I'm willing to do this, and at whatever cost there is, I'm willing to do it. And the thing is, the people want leaders that's not all about making themselves better, but they're all about making the people around them better. And that's what a true leader does. A leader makes not only himself better, but the people around him better.
Now, along with the 5 candidates in the Republican primary for Lieutenant Governor, there's a whole other slate of candidates from the Democratic side. So really, the people have a lot of options.
That's right, and that's good. But I want every voter to be educated on what they're voting for, because as I travel the campaign trail, I see which politicians are showing up at the events, and I see the ones who are interacting with the people. And just like today, I did my civil duty of early voting, and I saw names on the list that I hadn't seen at any campaign trails, and that's not good. I felt like, wow. I mean, I don't really know this person, and that's not. If you go to vote and you don't know the people that you're voting for, that's not good. And I voted for the ones I knew and the ones I had been reacting with. and the ones I had seen interacting with the people, and the ones that I felt would be the best leaders for our state. That from the ones I was educated about, you know.
Right.
And I've done a little bit of research on some of the unknowns, but at the same time, there's not as much information out there for them.
It sounds like you've kind of separated your definition of politician and leader, and they don't overlap all that much.
Well, to a certain degree, you're right. But a leader should be what the definition of a leader. And I've always seen myself, you know, in a leadership role, so to speak. I've always been a little bit ahead of the curve, so to speak. A lot of things I've participated in the past, I was the youngest person doing it. and I don't know if it was because of my background and having to grow up in a different way and different family setting, but I feel like that has a lot to do with it, because you have to, when you have your circumstances in life change, you have to adapt to it, and you don't have time to really adjust. You got to jump in there and go with it, you know. And that's how life is. You've got to jump in the current and swim with it, you know. Right. And that's exactly what a leaders want to do. And when I grew up in a single parent home, I learned the value of responsibility. I learned the value of family, and those things are priceless. And hard work is what's going to make it all happen. And that's what our state needs right now, is hard work from our leaders. Because right now, North Carolinians cannot afford to wait another day for the opportunity of prosperity. And it goes back to my campaign slogan, job development now. If people in this state can't find the leaders that's going to create the opportunities or help them create their own opportunities, we're in a mess. We're in a world of hurt. And right now, there was 18,000 people yesterday that fell out of the unemployment lines because their benefits ran out. Now, where does those folks turn to? Mm-hmm. Everywhere I go, people's main objective is, what can I do to make more money, or how can I get a better job, and how can I pay off my student loans and stuff like that. I want to be a leader that's going to give solutions to those problems and help find solutions to those problems. And it's going to take a collective effort from everyone, not just myself. And I'm willing to work with everybody. I'm not going to separate from one person or to another person. I want to see a team effort on it. I want to see everybody put their heads together and include the people, because the people are the ones that needs the opportunities, and they need to get involved in what's going on. And I'm ready to see the young people step up in this country to make some things happen, even if it's going against the fold, because I am going against the fold. I'm not supposed to be in this race. I'm supposed to read about it in your paper, and I'm supposed to be watching it on television. But I'm not. I'm in the race, and I feel pretty good about it.
Just recently, there was a study done that showed North Carolina is the 10th most impoverished state in the country. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned jobs just recently. The two kind of go hand in hand. Something that kind of jumps out at most people, and myself included in your platform, is your take on job creation. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, there's no such thing as job creation. My grandfather always said, if you could not find a job, make you one. And it's time for us to do that. We've got to make them. Everything in our country, practically, we used to be a producing country. All that stuff has been outsourced to other countries now. And basically, when we did that, that was basically signing our paychecks over to another country. And now we're having to deal with the circumstances, because we've let all that stuff that we were creating here in America be exported out for the, so to speak, for the betterment of our economy. But it has a backlash effect, and we've got to get back to being a producing state and a producing country instead of a consuming state and consuming country. And see, if you take every person in this state, and no matter what the education level, they have ways to benefit our state and our country by making themselves better, or making a product that's going to make themselves better or our state better. And there's no way to basically create something that you don't have, you see. And right now we don't have the job, so you've got to be able to innovate yourself, so to speak, and create a new product, new service that's going to be in demand. See, Coca-Cola and Pepsi, they change their products all the time to get new consumers because they're competing in a free market. And they might, Cherry 7-Up came up just a few years ago, and that was a marketing scheme, to create new buyers. And that's how we've got to do as a state. We've got to reinvent or come up with new products, new services that's going to be able to benefit our state that we can sell out abroad. And I believe that we have all the resources here. I mean, North Carolina was the leading gold producer in the country up until the gold rush in California. And nobody really wants to think about that. But the first discovery of gold was in North Carolina.
Yeah, that's something.
I'm looking for gold now. So I think the gold is in our people, and I really believe that. And I really believe that now is the time to start refining our gold and making it sparkle and shine like it's supposed to do, because all our people want is a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of motivation, and a little push from our people. And we can't be increasing our taxes and putting so many regulations out there for people obstacles, so to speak, for them to overcome, to move forward.
And just going about the whole thing with jobs, taking it from, say, another state and bringing them here isn't going to get the job done.
That's right. It's just relocating unemployment.
Right.
And see, the thing is, why would we want to steal from our sister states and make their people hurt, when we could start right here in our state and be the leading revolution of the new economy?
And you've said, as you've traveled the state, that you have heard hundreds of ideas for new products.
Well, right now we've traveled I've traveled close to 27 states, or 27 counties, and out of those counties, 10 of them we've talked to small groups of individuals. We got about 50 products. So you can take that domino effect and go across all the state, all 100 counties, and you could probably come out with 10 products per county. Mm-hmm. But you've got to be able to interact with the people and listen to what they're trying to do, because there's ways to improve, and everything's not been invented yet. We're still getting better all the time. And did you know, during the most critical economic times, the mind becomes more creative, because people they've got to learn to cut the corners. And anything that's going to help them save money, it's going to help their wallet too.
Right.
And so the thing is, that's when your creativity really blossoms, is when you go through a difficult time. And maybe if you go back and answer that question earlier about why did I get into race now, and the age factor, maybe when the circumstances I was faced with in life, maybe that's when I started to blossom and really became the person that I am today. Now, that's not without anybody's help. I didn't do that alone. The people around me made me that way, and they helped make me who I am, and I'm thankful for them every day. And that's another reason why I jumped in the race, because I want to give them something they can be proud of,
right,
and that they can look back at it and say, I helped this guy, at some point in time.
Sure. Now, your platform also has some ideas in the areas of housing and taxes. Real briefly, can you tell us a little bit about those?
Well, the housing platform that the created proposal that I came up with for the housing industry, it would allow you to deduct your down payment on your house, because number one, houses have been overpriced for some time now, and it's got to the point where a person can barely afford to buy a house, especially when they're not working on a steady job. And you would be able to deduct the down payment from your taxable income. Now, some people say that's a federal issue, not a state issue, but you can implement it on the state level through our tax system here in the state of North Carolina by giving the North Carolina residents a credit or not a credit, but a deduction on the state taxes. But you'd have to restructure your whole code, which is very complicated, and it can't be done overnight in some cases. But if the federal government would just say, well, look, we're going to allow any person that buys a new or foreclosed home or build a new house or something, we're going to allow them to deduct a down payment on their house, you'll start seeing the housing market bottom out, prices bottom, and the prices start increasing. Then when you see that happen, you're going to see new revenue coming into the state because of new jobs, new property taxes, new insurance sales, new repairs on the houses, new people, new landscape being put in the yard and stuff like that. It's just a domino effect.
Right.
And when you see people working, you can see things like that start to develop. But until we get our economy rolling with the jobs and stuff like that, I don't see the housing industry picking up as much as people want to make out like it will be.
Right.
And so we've still got a long way to go.
So you've got some ideas that could potentially help the state, but also could potentially help the federal government.
Absolutely.
And of course, you know that Mitt Romney's still looking for a vice presidential.
Oh yeah, that would be crazy. I mean, honestly, that would. I would never thought. I would never even think on that scope.
Sure.
I mean, but at the same time, that would be exciting, to get a call from one of the presidential hopefuls and say, hey, look, we'd like to put you on our economic advising team or something like that. I mean, really, ideally, my dream job would be like Secretary of Treasury or something like that, because then I get to sign the money and stuff like that, put your name on the $20 bill or something. But I mean, that's just making laughs and and I take it seriously. But now, honestly, if I had the opportunity to do something like that, I would be honored, to even fit in with that category.
Right.
That's historical.
Sure.
I mean,
and being a CPA, of course, the financial side is right in your wheelhouse.
Being a tax accountant and knowing how the tax system works, that, and see, then another thing that would allow me to relate to the people more. Right. I don't know how many Secretary of Treasurers we've had that we've that actually were small town Bladen County folks or from a small town.
Right.
I know that Ben Bernanke came from Dillon, South Carolina.
That's right.
And did you know that the house that he was raised in was foreclosed on?
No kidding.
And he did a documentary in Dillon here a few years back, and I had the privilege of watching it and everything. And one of my professors at ECU and Ben were really close in graduate school, and he wrote the preface for his book.
Okay.
So it's kind of connecting. But I admire people for taking those leadership roles.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of guts. And I'm proud to have the opportunity to be in the race. I'm proud to be from Bladen County. I'm proud to represent the small town folks. And I look forward to representing North Carolina, the citizens of North Carolina, as the next Lieutenant Governor, and doing a good job for the people that they'll be very pleased with. And I'm just thankful to have the opportunity.
All right. Well, we sure do appreciate you stopping by. I know your schedule's real busy leading up to the primary May 8th, but we appreciate you stopping by and giving some folks some information. And we certainly hope that they get out and at least consider supporting your campaign.
Oh, absolutely. I'm definitely appreciative of the support, the votes, and the consideration, because this is a big step for a person of my caliber, and I feel like I have a lot to offer to the people, and hopefully I can bring it back home.
Right. Well, Mr. Rich, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely.
Thanks
Thank you all for joining us on the Saturday show. We urge you to get out and vote on May 8th.